Architecture Is held a week-long festival in Bath discussing, debating and challenging how we can make a city that is good for the mind, body and soul. This short film captures thoughts on why some of our most appealing environments have water in them, with its ability to stimulate delight and with the body of evidence on its effect on our well-being. Why aren't we doing more to embrace water in our towns and cities?
So there's lots of scientific evidence to prove that actually spending time near water is very good for our health. It's good for our blood pressure and our heart rate, and it does all sorts of great things in terms of negative ions, which have very positive effects on our health in terms of our kind of mental state. When people were actually looking at pictures of green and blue spaces in the city, people actually were calmer when they were looking at water, pictures of water, not just of green space. And it wasn't just rivers and canals and other features, it was even sort of fountains, etc. So just the sight of it was having an effect on people.
So the last project I want to show you is interaction with rain. I think it's something that we enjoy, and I think again it's about slowing down and finding the time to look at nature in different ways.
Real good partnership working with the Thames Water to allow access by communities into this space for the first time, but it's also providing a function to support climate change and water attenuation. It's also brought together two very disparate communities.
To go back to our initial principles for the design about heritage, we thought that the setting for the building was also important, so the water features can also do that, can bring an enhanced setting of that historic building.
There is maybe like three main elements that are unique, that kind of go into in all the projects. First is the water, the geothermal water, which is a resource that we have a lot in Iceland. Although, there's many different ways to exploit it, and it has many health benefits. Also, the site-specific nature of the projects. We really try to take what is unique in each place and work with that. And we dig into the history of the places, the geography of the places, but also like the material qualities of each place and the natural aspects, and work with that in order to create sort of like unique experiences. And finally, the social benefits that they produce, like you were mentioning, not only to the communities, but also to the individuals. And this idea of kind of bringing together locals and tourists. Tourism is a very kind of recurring aspects in Iceland today, where we have like thousands of tourists coming. And so this idea of bringing them together with local communities is very important.
If you walk around Bath, you might just find Laura Fountain, which is probably Bath's only kind of recognisable water feature. Now put that into perspective, Rome has 2,000 fountains.
And this project has really been quite a success for the local community, because it brings a lot of revenue and business into the region and employs, I believe it's 700 people at the moment at the total complex of the Blue Lagoon. So you can see that it's a major economic player in the area.
If you take the cities in the United Kingdom, there was a very interesting piece of work done by Cambridge where they did have a 50-year plan. And the 50-year plan is interesting because it's a private-public partnership. It was prepared in conjunction with the university and with the kind of private sector. And it's Cambridge is expanding, blah, 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 but they do have an extraordinary vision for 50 years hence. And that ultimately needs a kind of political will. And I think in Bath, there hasn't been a vision for how things could be. And I think there are simple things that could make this place a lot better. And you take the big thing that would change this place for the better. I'm not really sure it would make it more diverse. But the river corridor, which Andrew has talked about, is an extraordinary missed opportunity. It's a kind of amazing piece of infrastructure with an extraordinary asset in the middle of it that people really have no access to. It's not used for this thing we call well-being, it's not used to navigate, it's used for transport, we can't cycle in it, we can't even get to it. It's excluded from the centre of the city by virtue of parade gardens and the rec and whatever else. Actually changing that and actually doing and implementing a master plan plan that went, I think, from kind of Bath Eastern all the way through the city, out the other side, and ultimately to Bristol, is the big vision that we need.